Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog Softball now, and with us, pitcher Dana Bowler. And Dana, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Bulldogs, since the last time we talked last week with Coach Thompson, played 6 games to open conference play this past weekend in Ohio and down in Detroit. And talk about the experience of being able to open league play this past weekend and how the Bulldogs did.
We were off to a little bit of a rocky start, but it's always nice to start conference play and to get to implement all of the hard work that we've been doing in practice. So it was a nice 6 games to see what we need to work on, and we ended up going 2-4, but we swept Tiffin, which was a big 2 wins for us, so we're pretty excited about that.
Talk about sweeping Tiffin. I know they were a team that had some pretty high expectations as well coming into the year, and a team that's been pretty good over the last few years. And talk about that sweep and how important that was.
Yes, Tiffin was, I think, they were ranked first in the south of the GLIAC. So to go in there and sweep them on their home field, that was pretty uplifting for us, especially after 2 losses against Findlay, who was a team that we thought we should have swept. It was just nice to see that we could bounce back from 2 losses and beat a team that had high expectations in the beginning of the season.
Before you had open conference play, obviously you had a chance to play at home, a non-conference doubleheader against Aquinas last week, and talk about the experience as we have some highlights of that action. What it's like to be able to play in front of the home fans here in Big Rapids.
It's great. We love playing at our home field. We have so many people come out and support us, people from the community, younger softball players that always come up to us after the games, and other sporting teams. I think the football team and women's basketball, some soccer girls were there. So that was nice to see. It was it's always fun opening your season up at home. So there were good 2 games that we played, and I think Coach Thompson mentioned she got us pumped up before the game, that she said Aquinas, they really want to come here and beat us, so we better step up our game and not just be laid back and enjoy the atmosphere. So we took it pretty serious.
Bulldogs obviously opened their season down in Florida, and I know you always have a great contingent of fans and supporters and parents that follow you down there and on the road as well, and it's nice to be able to play in front of some people you recognize.
Yes, yeah, we played down in Florida. It was good to also play in some warm weather we were not used to, but it's been a lot better this year.
Obviously, the spring has been great so far, and one of the earliest home openers you've been able to play here in Big Rapids in your career here, and you'll have plenty more opportunities here in the month of April with a lot of home games coming up.
Yes, we usually are rained out our first home opener against Aquinas, and this is the first time that we've actually played them. And we have, I believe we're not home until around April 4th, but we're going to enjoy the nice weather.
You obviously have a little bit of a change this year as compared to the last few years, a new coaching staff, or at least a new coach in charge in Don Thompson, and talk about how that transition has been for you as a player with a new staff coming in this spring.
It's been pretty smooth because Dawn was our assistant coach. She knows how we like to work, what we like to practice before games, and a few things. We have a new pitching coach, Holly Brunchins, and she's meshed well with the pitching staff. We love working with her. We review teams before we play them, and Lindsay Weaver, our assistant, she was a former player, so of course she plays a big role in helping Coach Thompson out with those finer details that she's not so sure of.
This week back in action and on the road at Davenport for a non-league series, and then big 4-game stretch at Grand Valley State this weekend, and talk about that rivalry and what it's like to face the Lakers.
Oh, that's probably one of the biggest games that I'm always pumped for. We got, a lot of us have a few friends on Grand Valley actually, which makes it even more exciting to play them. Grand Valley always has a great hitting team every year. They always have a handful of players hitting over 300, so our pitching staff's going to be very prepared for that, and I think our hitting's going to do well. I think it'll be a good game. We're looking forward to it.
How important is a series like that where you're facing a team in your own division in the conference and a team that kind of like the Bulldogs had some pretty high expectations, and to play 4 games in a row against the same team, how important is that to the success as you look towards the GLIAC picture?
It's really important. Every game adds up in the end. A few years in a row, we've always been just a few games short of making it into the playoffs. So every game matters when we're going into it. It's really rough playing 4 games in a row and such a great team that is new. I think last year was the first time we've done that. It gives the hitters a chance to adjust to the pitchers, and you'll see after a stretch of games that there's higher scoring games towards the end. So it's a bit of an adjustment that we have to make, but it's doable.
What have been some of the biggest strengths for the Bulldogs this year in terms of what you've been able to do both as a pitcher individually and also as a team?
Some of our strengths, well, I think last year we struggled in the beginning with our pitching, so we made sure that was one of our strengths. Coming in ready for games, and we had a bit of a hiccup against Findlay, but we were able to bounce back a lot faster because we focused on it in the beginning of the year. So I think that's one of our strengths right now. Our hitting, we've got a great lineup of hitters. We just got to work on getting hits more consistently, and I think that's going to be one of our big strengths once we do that.
As you look back over your career so far here at Ferris, what really stands out for you and means the most to you to be a college softball player?
Just the team in general, to be with all those girls. They're a great team. I'm sure it's like that on every team, but it's always fun to have sisters away from home. It's like a family away from home.
And obviously a lot of big goals still out there as the Bulldogs continue their season.
Yes. One of my personal goals for the team is to we're right now 10-12, so want to get above 500 early on in the season so we're not struggling to make it into the GLIAC tournament towards the end.
Well, best of luck to the Bulldogs as you continue the season.
Thank you.
This has been Ferris Sports Update. Thanks for tuning in.